I'm Paula Danielli, the crochet designer and creator of CrochetHooksYou.com. Recently I've partnered with a cause called Crochet for Cancer, and I'll be designing a series of chemo caps for volunteers to make and donate. This chemo cap you see here is my first design, which we've named it Wings Like Eagles. I'll be showing you how to make this chemo cap in this tutorial, and to find out more information about Crochet for Cancer, where to donate items and how to form a chapter in your own area, you can click through to the website through the link below in the description box. You'll also find a link there for the written pattern, which is at CrochetHooksYou.com. This chemo cap is a lady's adult size and is a beginner pattern. The head circumference is 19 inches or 48 centimeters, but take note that with all caps or beanies they stretch another 1 to 1.5 inches or 3 to 4 centimeters once placed on the head. You can make this cap on its own with or without the wings, and I'll just take the wings off so that you can see what it looks like on its own. So this is what it looks like on its own. This is the front with just a small brim there, and that's what it looks like at the back. So it's up to you whether you want to make the cap on its own or with the wings and the buttons. Now, when making a chemo cap, I've used the smallest stitch, which is the single crochet stitch, and the reason being, when making a chemo cap you want to crochet in the smaller stitches, as most chemo patients who've lost their hair prefer caps with no holes or gaps. The materials required for this chemo cap is 1 ball of Red Heart with Love medium category 4 yarn, and I'm using a colour called Bubblegum. And I'll take this label off so that you can have a good look at what you need. The colour is Bubblegum. Now, I tested with a 6 and a 6.5mm hook, but it left too many gaps between stitches, so I'm using a 5.5mm hook or an eye. Now, if you're going to have wings on your cap, you'll need 2 buttons. Any buttons are fine. And you'll need your craft scissors, a large yarn needle with a large eye, and a stitch marker. If you don't have a stitch marker, you can use a safety pin. This pattern is worked in continuous rounds, which means that there's no joining at the end of each round. So we'll basically be working around and around in a spiral motion. We'll be starting at the crown of the chemo cap, which is the top of the cap, and then we'll be working around and around and working downwards this way. To get started, we're going to make a slip knot. So wrapping the yarn around your finger, and take that off, and then push the working end of the yarn up through that loop, and then pull the yarn tail, and there we have our slip knot. Using our 5.5mm hook, insert it in there and just pull. And now we're going to make 4 chain stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to join into the first chain stitch here to form a ring. Just flip your tail end over there, get the working end, wrap it over your hook, and we'll make a slip stitch through those 2 loops. And there we have our ring. Now from here on out we'll be using our stitch marker to place into the first stitch of each round. So now that we've got our ring, we're going to be working over this tail end and making 8 single crochet stitches into the center of this ring. So we'll make the first single crochet, and that's your tail there. There's our first single crochet stitch. So we want to place our marker into that stitch. So we've got 1 single crochet. Now remember to work over this tail with each stitch. Two single crochet, three, four, five, six, seven, 8. And that's round 1 completed. And remember, we're not joining into this stitch because we're working in continuous rounds. We'll just be working our next stitch for the next round into that one, and around and around. Okay, so for round 2 we're going to be doing 2 single crochet stitches into each of those 8 stitches. So now we take our marker out, and you can just leave the tail alone now, we'll fix that up later. So into this first stitch where we've just taken the marker out, we're going to do our first single crochet stitch into that stitch, pop our marker back in, and then into that same stitch where we just put that single crochet, we want to do a second single crochet stitch. Moving on to the next stitch, we'll do 2 single crochet into this stitch. So there's the first one and the second one. And we'll do the same for all of these stitches around. 2 single crochet stitches into each stitch around. 1, 2.